Hey guys, Sparner here. Some of you might know me as Pride from the various Paladin Discord servers. I'm the guy that made the commonly used retribution DPS spreadsheets and basically back in Classic. I'm here today to answer some very commonly asked questions about a new Paladin mechanic in TBC called Seal Twisting. What is it? How to do it? And what does Seal Twisting rotation look like? This guide will go into a decent amount of detail, so I'm going to be making sure that it's annotated for everyone to easily skip through and rewind. So, what is seal twisting? Well, in very simple terms, seal twisting is a trick that paladins can use in order to gain the benefit of two different seals in one swing. Those two seals will nearly always be Seal of Command and Seal of Blood, as they do the highest amount of damage, but it is possible to twist any two seals, provided that one of them is Seal of Command. The reason for that is that Seal of Command persists for 400 milliseconds, or 0.4 seconds, after you switch to a different seal. This only works if you switch to a different seal with Seal Command active currently. You cannot judge command and then switch to a different seal. Okay, sounds good so far, but how do you seal twist? Well, in order to make full use of this trick, it is highly recommended that you use a swing timer add-on or a WeakAura that has a seal twist indicator. The WeakAura that you can see in this video, made by me, will be linked in the description of the video. You will notice that it has a little green mark near the end, 0.4 seconds before your swing timer resets, representing the window that you can seal twist in. So let's say you're doing damage to an enemy like I am doing to this dummy here. What you want to do is switch to Seal Command, and then at most 0.4 seconds before your swing resets, or after the green mark on my WeakAura here, switch to Seal of Blood. You will notice that for a brief moment, you have both Seal of Command and Seal of Blood in your buffs list at the same time. If you did it right, one of two things will happen. You A, didn't get a Seal of Command proc, so you simply got one Seal of Blood hit. Or, if you got lucky, then B, you got a Seal of Command proc, which also procs Seal of Blood, resulting in one Seal of Command hit and then two Seal of Blood hits, for a total of 140% weapon damage, which is absolutely massive. This trick is easy to mess up, and it takes some practice to master. If you activated Seal of Blood too early, Scenario B cannot happen, as you do not have Seal of Command when your swing happened. If you activated Seal of Blood too late, then neither scenario can happen, as at most you're only getting a Seal of Command hit, or if you're unlucky, no Seal hits at all, since Seal of Command did not proc, costing you a lot of damage. Okay, so now we know what Seal Twisting is and how to do it, but what does fitting it into your raid DPS rotation look like? Well, because seal twisting is time sensitive, you must always switch seal command first before you can twist, and you must always change the seal blood at most 0.4 seconds before your swing. It has a very drastic impact on the Red Paladin DPS rotation and rates. In short, there is not really a super simple rotation you can follow, as your weapon speed will determine how often you need to twist. That means that there isn't really a cooldown to twisting per se. But in general, what you're aiming to do is seal twist on as many swings as possible without delaying your Crusader Strike and Judgment more than you need to. In practice, that means that in general you want to be using your Crusader Strike on cooldown or every 6 seconds. Then, if there's at least 1.6 seconds left until your swing, you want to use Judgment if Seal of Blood is currently up, then activate Seal Command, and then after the green mark on my swing timer here, you want to switch to Seal of Blood in order to twist. Caveat number one here is that you can delay Crusader Strike a little bit, and in fact you should if you already have Seal of Command active, as you always want to have Seal of Blood when you're swinging. Let's say you have Seal of Command up, and the Seal Twist is coming up in the next second, but your Crusader Strike just became available. You should go ahead and twist anyway. Delaying that Crusader Strike a little bit is always going to pay out in the end. Caveat number two is that you always want to be using Judgment with Seal of Blood up. There's basically no situation where you want to be using Judgment of Command, as it does less damage than Judgment of Blood, and it will mess up your Seal Twist setup. So ultimately, you're going to be using Judgment of Blood, activating Seal of Command, and then switching to Seal of Blood just before your swing for a twist. And that's generally what your Judgment usage will look like. Caveat number three is that even with Seal Twisting, you will still have some downtime in your rotation. That is going to be a good chance for you to use Paladin filler spells like Exorcism and Consecration. However, these spells do pretty poor damage compared to a Twist or Crusader Strike, particularly when you factor in their mana cost. So you should never miss a twist because of these filler spells, and you should never let them delay Crusader Strike even further if a twist is coming up. And speaking of mana costs, caveat number 4 is that you want to be using rank 1 sealed command. You are never using Judgment with command up anyway, as we mentioned before, so there's really no point in using max rank there. And the mana you save is very important, as sealed twisting is very mana intensive. One last thing to look out for, I know there's some people out there that have recommended that you use stopattack macros in order to seal twist. Those can absolutely work, but they can also end up losing your DPS if used improperly, so I only recommend using them if you really know what you're doing. For the most part, I'd suggest that you only use them in PvP, as they're actually very useful there, but they're not as much in PvE, so I would not recommend using them there. I know that I'm making seal twisting sound really complicated when I put it this way, but really, it's fairly intuitive when you've actually done it in a raid. I recommend that after TBC has launched and you've leveled your Paladin to 70, before you start twisting in raids, let's say, you make a copy of your character on the PTR so you can practice twisting on a dummy, like I'm doing here, until it becomes muscle memory. I hope you have found this information useful and that when you're actually trying twisting, you have a good time with it and have good success. I know that I'm really looking forward to still twisting in raids with my Paladin, as it's both pretty fun to do and it gives us a pretty significant DPS boost compared to not doing it, making our class fairly competitive on the DPS meters. And that will be all for now. I'm planning to do another video on steel twisting, explaining why it works the way it does, and debunking some myths and misconceptions surrounding it, such as that the developers nerfed it compared to the way it was before, which was commonly known as bilateral or two-way twisting. So I hope that you stay tuned.